Okay, thanks for joining me again, guys. We're in the shed once again, and we're going to have a look at today is fixing a puncture. My road bike I was out on Saturday. Luckily, it got flat when I got back, so it was all good. Now today it's going to be short because apologies, because I'm just can get into grips with editing and length of filming and so on. My first overnighter ended up being a bit of an epic, so apologies for that, but we're learning, it's all good. So what we're going to do today is we're going to take off the tyre. So I've dismantled the wheel from the actual frame, which is straightforward. Some have got nuts. This is a quick release. We're going to use tyre levers, and then we're going to use some puncture repair stuff, patch, glue. So the first trick is to actually remove the rubber tyre from the actual wheel itself. So we do this by hooking. I'll bring the camera down a little bit so it's nice and close so people get an idea. We hook this right onto the edge, trying not to catch the inner tube which is in here. We catch the side wall of the tyre onto the lever and we hook it over. Now these are by a company called Pedros and they're really hard plastic, which are great. The cheaper ones are flexible, so you're wanting to spend, I mean these are £5 or £6, so it's not a lot of money and it's really worthwhile. Now sometimes you can just hook it into the side and just pull round. Other times it's best to sort of go further around the tyre and try and get it in, and that just pops it out. I'm going to just take this off with the lever. We take the inner tube out, and we're going to put it into a pail of water and see if we can identify where the hole is. So I'll just do that just now. Okay, right, we've taken out the inner tube. I've put a little bit of air in it, and then we're just going to submerge it into this basin of water and see if we can find where the hole is. Now if you're out and about, what I'd recommend is that you just take an inner tube. So already they've been changed and I'm away, but if we get a puncture, I mean you can see I've repaired it there before. Now there's a chance it may be leaking, I don't know. Quite often if you've hit a curb or a big sort of like obstacle or a pothole, you'll get a kind of double hole, but we'll have a look. We're going to submerge it in this water and see if we can see a bubble. Now normally, like I said, you'd have a spare tube, and you probably wouldn't be doing this. You can see my previous repair's got a tiny bubble coming out the side. That's probably enough. That's a really slow, so I can put a little repair just on the side of that to seal that, because the rest of the repair looks good. But what I'll do before we do that is I'll go right around the tyre to check it to see if there's any other holes. don't want masses of this glue, but enough to give a good layer, and then you're placing the small patch over the hole that you've marked with your crayon, and like I said, you'll get another couple 100 miles out of the tube. So it was right on the edge, so just going to pop it down like that, and we're just going to hold it in place for a minute or two and let that dry. Okay, we're letting that dry for a minute. Quick talk through what I take out in my bike. So we've got the tyre levers, an energy drink. This is really good, it's digestible, it'll get you home. Lezine multi-tool, different bits and pieces for a on-side repair, not too much. And I take 2 or 3 rubber gloves, and this is what I hold all of that in. It all goes in here, and that sits in one of my bottle holders, so I don't need to have anything hanging from the back of my seat. A really good pump and an inner tube. All you really need, and some money as well. Good old Winston Churchill. All you really need is your tyre levers to be able to get your tyre off, and an inner tube and a pump. That's it done. Wheels on, pumped up, looks good, pretty simple little repair, nothing too major. So this is the SLR03 full carbon by BMC, a Swiss manufacturer of bikes. So yeah, so give us a subscription if you like what you're watching. Hopefully there'll be a bit more to see over the next few weeks. I'm planning my next kind of overnighter, which I'm really looking forward to, and it'll be a bit shorter than my first go, which is a bit of an epic. So, but thanks for all your support. Hopefully you've learnt a little bit about changing your tyre. If you have a rear flat, it's always worth lifting your back wheel and getting your chain onto the lowest ring, so when you take your wheel off, it slips off here really easy to get your wheel out. And it's definitely worth practicing repairing, practicing getting an inner tube out of your tyre before you have a flat. There's nothing worse than ending up in the middle of nowhere and panicking, so you need to keep calm, get off of the road, have a look at your environment, and be really safe and sensible. Get right off of the roadside, because cars are obviously your biggest enemy on the bike. A couple of our friends have been hit by cars recently, and I don't know if it's to do with the pandemic and people driving more recklessly. Luckily neither of them were hurt, but helmets on, high vis on, daylights running. You know, I can't reinforce safety enough on the bike. They're great fun, but you need to be really careful. So listen, thanks again for all your support. Give us a thumbs up, as I said, and yeah, cycle with care and enjoy yourself out there. Cheers.